He's not even lost a full lap compared to the rest of the field that are just completing their installation laps at present. Toprak playing for the gallery. Still a long way to go this weekend, but he'll be hoping to get the job done here tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you can see that for Toprak, even down pit lane at the pit lane speed limit, still quite keen just to make sure top 4 positions there, but we'll see what Gerloff can do as he progresses through the course of the session. This is pretty much another slow lap from Toprak. You can see there a little bit of traffic as well. He had Álvaro Bautista that he had to come across in the opening couple of sectors there, but for Toprak in FP1.
Yeah, we made a mistake from team side. Okay, sometimes it happens and it's like this, and it's a shame because we lose maybe 25 minutes for Johnny to get used to the track and
Razgatlioglu, the better, and we talk about it in those terms because we know, frankly, that Jonathan Ray needs the race victories if he's going to get on terms with Toprak. If he's behind, it doesn't matter how many riders are up at the front of the field. Talking about being behind, Jonathan Ray sits and follows Razgatlioglu, who knows he's there, looks over his shoulder, and Ray must have slowed down, I think, to get himself in that position directly behind Toprak.
Yeah, Ray's really dropped off the pace on this lap. He saw Toprak was behind him, didn't want to give any information away, so he's let Toprak come through in front, and Toprak immediately then sits up as well. They don't want to show each other their cards.
Been in this position in the GP paddock before, haven't we, with a little bit of gamesmanship early in the weekend.
It wasn't too far away in Sepang from here in Indonesia, but certainly for Toprak and for Ray, it's been a very spirited battle on track, but off track they've both been able to keep the respect that they have for one another. It's been interesting to see how that relationship has evolved. Obviously, from a few years ago when Toprak first came onto a superbike, it was almost seen that it was 13 rounds.
Yes, I don't think Ray will be showing too much or sharing too much with Razgatlioglu over the course of this weekend in particular, as he tries to follow his quarry out on the circuit as well as in championship terms. But of course the points are to be scored here until tomorrow. It does give an interesting indication though, as Jonathan Ray just sweeps down the inside of Razgatlioglu and through.
Yeah, and you can see Toprak quick look over his shoulder.
Have made their way back into the pits. Axel Bassani, Álvaro Bautista and Leon Haslam rounding out your top 10. We now pick up Razgatlioglu 0.2 of a second faster than Jonathan Ray at the end of the third sector, actually losing a little bit of time to Ray through that sector, but it's in this fourth sector that he'd been making up a lot of time earlier on today. We'll see if he can actually go better than the target time he set this morning, a 1 minute 34.985. If he does it, he'll be the first rider in this session to go into the 1 minute 34s. 1:35.122 is the time to beat, set by Jonathan Ray, and Razgatlioglu beats Ray's time, but not quite able to get back into the 1 minute 34s.
Yeah, staying just outside the 35s, and it's gotten up there in 6th position, so a lot of riders coming back into the pits. You'd expect to see Toprak and Ray come back in pretty soon. Toprak, you can see there, closing up in the back of Jonathan Ray once again, so this could well be the last lap for Jonathan Ray on this stint.
I sort of cut you off when we were talking about riders who might be able to come to the fore for next season. Another that's worth mentioning, Álvaro Bautista, moving back onto Ducati machinery. And I tell you what, Alex Lowe's as well. Lowe's over the last couple of rounds, when he's been fit enough, you know, in the Super Bowl sessions, he's well and truly been able to mix it up at the front of the field and show that the pace is there. Has made a step forward over the course of 2021 compared to where he was last season, certainly, even if the championship standings as a result of missing races and rounds don't necessarily reflect that.
Yeah, I think for Lowe's in particular, it's been a frustrating season. He's made a big step forward with Kawasaki and had a mid-season war were unbeatable at times, and it'll be interesting to see just how much everyone else has moved forward to be able to close that gap.
The other question mark, I suppose, as far as next season is the...
I use that to educate your decision for which tyre to use tomorrow. Just looking at the track temperature, it's again dropped another couple of degrees, so we're down around 50 degrees now, so it is coming down steadily as the afternoon wears on. We're around 3:30 local time now, and it is all about the cloud cover that comes in. We've also got a little bit more of a breeze here as well at this stage, so it's a little bit easier compared to what we've had in this morning session.
Time for a little bit of formation flying for Toprak Razgatlioglu and Andrea Locatelli, who leave pit lane.
Scott, what do you do to learn these tracks? Because he's had quite a few new tracks since he came to World SBK, and he said, I don't really do anything. I don't look at video, I don't look at track maps, go for a walk, and then I go out and ride it, and I get up to speed pretty quickly. And it is that adaptability that really sets apart the top riders. And you know, it's the same as in any sport. If you're at that level, you've got that extra mental capacity just to make those steps.
Toprak Razgatlioglu makes takes another step there, a 1 minute 34.230 now, and Andrea Locatelli, by following in his tyre tracks, has moved himself up into P2, so we'll get him into a group, and that looks at the moment like being the only way to race him.
But Toprak's a rider with no weaknesses right now, and he's really strong in pretty much every area. If you look at the question marks that we had about Toprak in previous years, it was qualifying. He was struggling on a Q tyre in Superpole. He's been really good in qualifying this year. Then it suddenly was, well, what's he going to be like in wet conditions? That was always a bit of an issue for him on the Kawasaki, and last year on the Yamaha. Suddenly we went, he'll know that he needs to make a bit of time between turn 1 and down in towards turn 5, so that's where Kawasaki need to find a bit of a step forward. Lows in that sector as well, 0.3 of a second slower than Toprak.
Razgatlioglu looks set now to prove and underline that pace by putting in another similar lap. He's only 0.03 of a second down after 3 completed sectors. If he puts in a couple here in the 1 minute 34.2s, I think that proves the point, doesn't it?
Well, the point's already been proven by Toprak. He got down to speed really quickly in free practice 1, was willing to push a little bit harder than some of the other riders this morning, and he's been able to get good information from both sessions.
It was interesting, 1,000th of a second down. That's about as similar as you can get to his previous lap. I think that proves what I was saying. As far as Kend as well, to send him into the winter with a little bit of a confidence boost. He was a little bit closer to the front over the last couple of rounds compared to what he had been. It's been almost anonymous spell for Garrett Gerloff. You'll think all the way back to Assen, the first 4 rounds of the season. Gerloff was absolutely superb, and you would have never in a million years believed that Axel Bassani was going to get on terms with him later on in the season and start to challenge for top independent, and that's something that Gerloff is actually going to genuinely have to defend over the course of this weekend, because he sits in 8th position in the championship, only 14 clear of Bassani.
Yeah, and certainly for Gerloff, up until Assen, really looked like he was consistently at the front, able to run at the same pace and really battle with everyone in those leading positions. Had some podiums at the start of the year. I give Leon Haslam too much credit there. Front row for Haslam, not a podium, I just remember. So it is getting a lot closer now, with Scott Redding all the way down in 11th, but only 0.8 of a second off the pace, but on course for an improved lap time now as well. Alvaro Bautista on course for a fast lap as well at the halfway stage. Toprak on course for another consistent lap there at 34.3. That's about 1/10 of a second off of his fastest time, but still faster than what we've seen from anyone else.
That's when Razgatlioglu can 0.1 of a second down on Razgatlioglu. You're right on board now.
Yeah, Redding actually fastest of all in sector 3 as well now, so he's been able to find some progress over the course of the last couple of sessions as well.
Alvaro Bautista won't improve on his final lap. He's lost over a second through sector 2 after being 0.007 of a second up through sector 1. Razgatlioglu there exiting the final turn and crosses the line to complete his session and see the checkered flag with a 1:34.612. So a little bit slower than his previous lap, but he's not going to mind too much about that. Razgatlioglu's got this session, he's got Friday sewn up here at the Mandalika International Circuit, and with a series of stunning laps faster than his nearest
seconds in this session as well, so he's been able to make a big step forward on that Kawasaki as well.
And purely in numbers terms, probably not too far off what other riders who've been doing on that same bike this season, to be honest.
Yeah, we've seen the likes of Epis and Crescent. He actually found 4.5 seconds in this session, so he's made a big step forward from this morning. Obviously, off-track conditions have improved a lot, but for Oliver, he's also trying to learn how to ride a World SBK bike. This is his first outing on a